Hey, it's Coach Hudson here, and thanks for taking a minute to watch this video. Today, we're just going to talk a little bit about some of the ways that you can avoid burnout. Because let's be honest, I don't think it matters how much you love what you do in real estate and love the opportunities it affords you. Because, like, what a beautiful industry we're in, right? I mean, we're in a blank check industry. We decide how much we make. And there comes a lot of pressure with that. And I think it's really, really easy to get into burnout. I mean, I've been there before. And yeah, so let's talk about it because nobody wants to be there, right? So, I mean, some of the most simple things, if you're just in a because there's moments of burnout and there's like an overarching, God, I'm over it, I'm over it, I'm over it. I think they're two different things. I think sometimes we're just like, it's been a long week or long month or whatever, and it's kind of a temporary thing, or just the same thing that you don't love that happen again. So I think when you hit like a temporary burnout, it's really easy to just remember to pull in a pattern interrupt, right? Like if you're frustrated with something, same thing as burnout, right? If you're frustrated with something or the way that you're feeling, I think anything you can do to make a change in that moment is wildly helpful. So for instance, like literally just getting up and taking a break and taking a walk. If you've been sitting and working, stand up. If you've been standing and working, sit down. Um, having some great music, like all of us have at least a few songs that really light us up, and having that set as a playlist, so you can just be like, "Rrr," like aggressively press play. So those are some easy things that you can do. Having knowing who your most resilient relationships are, the people who totally support you no matter what, that don't like do the there pat on your back, the people that actually truly support you, like, let's get through this. How can I help? Those type of people. Being willing to call or text them, like, I'm having a moment. Can we chat? And just being real with them. I think that they don't have to be in the same field as you. And I think if they understand the field that you're in a little bit better or what you do for a living, it'll help. So those are some of the things you can do just in the short term, just to get yourself out of it. Let's talk though about like the bigger burnout, the like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And frankly, gosh, it was back in the beginning of 2019. I was making so much money, guys. Like I was making a lot of money. Like in 2019, it would be the first year that I ever earned seven figures. So we're talking about a lot of money. And I was like ready to quit. I really, really was. And thankfully, I have great mentors in my life. I have coaches, and I had enough people to talk to kind of figure out what was going on. And I just needed to change some things. I didn't need to quit the industry. I didn't need to drop my team and go do something completely different. I just needed to take back some control and to realize that the stuff that you did a year ago that got you to where you are today was great. And sometimes to get through the next year to where you want to be, then we get to do things different. So I think it's important the number one thing I would tell you to avoid burnout is to just embrace leverage. And that's challenging because the average high achiever real estate agent personality is also, frankly, I say with love because I'm constantly reforming and curing myself, is a control freak, right? We think we can do everything better than other people, and not from a they're not good enough. We just, no, I got this, I'm good. Like we think we can do everything better. We think it'll be quicker if we just do it ourselves. And in some moments, that's true. The challenge is that overall, it can't be true for everything because otherwise we can't scale that. So just being willing to embrace leverage, what are the things? So like, let's look at two things within your personal life. What things are sucking up the time that you should and could be out either enjoying your life or earning money in real estate? And look at those things. And guess what? If you could pay someone else to do it, and that would cost you less than your dollar per hour earnings, which for most real estate agents, you're talking about it's $100 or more easily. So it's hundreds for some people, thousands for luxury agents. So like, what is it that we should leverage out? Is it dry cleaning? Is it having somebody who cleans your house? Is it hiring somebody to take care of your lawn? The first personal piece of leverage I ever embraced when I was still like holding on to my control freakness, it was simply hiring a dog walker. I was single at the time. I had two little tiny dogs. Little dogs can't hold their bladder all day. So I had to go home and let them out every day. And I was like 30 minutes from the office. So that was an hour that I lost. And then, like, heaven forbid, I wanted to eat that day. So I mean, and it literally, I that little thing I did that cost almost no money changed my life because I got 5 hours a week back. You multiply that by a year. I mean, I was adding days. I was adding days by just hiring somebody for like 20 bucks a day to come walk my dog. So what things can you leverage? Now within your business, it becomes even bigger, right? And there's so many directions to go. And this is something I love talking about because I am all about living a real life by design. So I'm happy to chat with any of you about this on a more case by case basis. And yet within your business, there's a lot of leverage options. And what I find is that when I say leverage, most agents hear assistant and then they think salary and then they think I can't afford that, or maybe they can afford it and it still sounds scary. And while some people that watch this video, it will be time for you to get an assistant. It doesn't mean it's everybody, right? Leverage in your business is so many things. Leverage is if you have a lot of buyers and are doing a lot of showings, get a showing agent. You're not ready for a dedicated showing agent. What young, hungry agents are in your market center that would happily accept however many dollars per door to go show property to you for you? Or maybe a small percentage of each closing they would get because they were showing property for you. Um, if you do need some sort of backing, I mean, there's transaction coordinators you can pay by the deal. If you are doing a lot of business and yet you're not quite ready to bring on a full-time assistant, there's virtual assistants. I've had great experiences with that, which could take a lot off your plate for a very small amount of money. There's so many systems in general. Systems are leverage. Systems will help you from burning out. Ultimately, what I learned when I shared earlier that I was kind of at a point of burnout, maybe 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago, it was that I, I I was running a business that didn't work. Like I had agents that weren't willing to work, therefore I was doing all of the production. I had an admin that didn't really want to be in the role that they were in, and I had to go through and do some cleaning of house, some rearranging of house, and go create something that worked. And when I did that, not only did we have our best year ever, like I had my best year ever. I became a coach that year because what I also realized, and I want you to understand that this is okay if this applies to you. Maybe you don't need a whole new industry, and yet maybe there's something else that you can do. And the beautiful thing about Keller Williams is that Keller Williams is the land of and. Like you can do more than one thing at the same time. Nobody tells you you can't. So I added coaching to my world. I took a very talented operational person and turned them into a salesperson. I turned them into my director of sales to have them take over the day by day of the team. I stopped selling as much and eventually stopped selling completely. And all of that happened because I was having a moment where I just wanted to run away and scream. And instead, I talked to somebody that I knew could help me through what I needed to be helped through and help me see the forest through the trees. And that's something that I'm passionate about doing for people like you. So we could talk, I could make this video an hour long with all of the different directions you could go to, kind of a choose your own adventure for your business and for creating an easier job out of what you need to do and adding leverage so that you wouldn't hit burnout and could still achieve at a high level. And yet there's too many variables and you don't want an hour long video. So what I'm going to do is say, if you're feeling at all like you're in burnout or you know that like you're on the cusp and you're headed there, here's what I'm going to ask you. Well, two things. If you're feeling it in this moment, reach out to me. Reply to this email. Let me know. I will jump on the phone with you or on a Zoom with you, and we will find a time to chat and maybe kind of like put a band-aid on the bleeding, right? And join us for Bold. If you're feeling burnt out, probably one of the bigger reasons you would not come to Bold is that you would say you don't have the time for it. And I used to say that a lot. And I had to learn that every time I said I didn't have time for something, what I was saying is that it wasn't a priority. And it doesn't hurt my feelings if you think Bold's not a priority. That's not why I want you to go to Bold. I want you to join us for Bold if you're kind of on the feel of the verge of burnout or you're all the way there, because we can work together to fix it. We can get you in an environment where we don't focus on the negative, we focus on the positive. We're solution based, and we can help you find the right cadence for your business to where you can still earn the money you desire to earn and potentially work less hours and do less of the things that you don't enjoy doing anyways, because there's a whole world out there for you. So join us. Reach out if I can help you before the class starts, and reach out if you have any questions about Bold in general. I appreciate you and make it a great day.